Almost every Spider fan out there really wants to know when we are going to see Tom Holland again. And it turns out Tom Holland might be Spider-Man much sooner than anybody expects. And not in the median he wasn't before. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about Across the Spider-Verse and some major new casting news added to that upcoming Sony movie. Let's break it down. Well, I gotta say, I think this is pretty big news for the Sony Spider-Man universe. We have known for quite a while that Across the Spider-Verse is going to bring together more variants of Spider-Man than ever before. Into the Spider-Verse was quite the success, and many fans have been wondering about who's going to be joining up with the new team. Now, we have heard some rumors that there could be a really large number of Spider variants in the upcoming movie, but the report via the Cosmic Circus is blowing people away. Now, this isn't coming directly from Tom Rothman or Sony or anybody officially with the project, so we always want to take it with a grain of salt. But the team at the Cosmic Circus has knocked a bunch of casting reports out of the park, and I think this one really does carry a little bit of weight. Now, what they are saying is we are getting two really big additions to Across the Spider-Verse. And yes, the first one is Tom Holland himself. Apparently, the MCU's version of Spider-Man is set to appear in this film, and I think that might be one of the biggest things yet when it comes to the Sony-Disney relationship. This could be an indicator of other great news for Spider fans. Tom Holland's contract was completely spent at the end of the last Spider-Man movie. We've heard a ton of behind-the-scenes negotiations about Tom Holland and the future of Spider-Man in Sony and in the MCU, and if this report turns out to be true, that means some of those details have been worked out, and more than likely they are solidifying plans as we speak for Tom Holland's future. Now, the other big casting is the voice of Spider-Man in the video game, Yuri Lowenthal. And that will also be a pretty big addition, but I have to say it is getting overshined a little bit by Tom Holland's return. Now, there's not a lot of details about the extent of any of these appearances. Tom Holland's version of the character could simply be somebody in the background or maybe share one or two lines. All of that is completely up in the air. But the Cosmic Circus does reiterate that this is definitely going to be the MCU version of Spider-Man making an appearance in this film. This is pretty big, once again seeing the multiverse aspects of Marvel's universe collide with Sony and Disney all at one time, and Tom Holland's name attached to the project will bring it nothing but attention. Now, when it comes to Lowenthal's version of the web-slinger, it also does seem this actor will lend his talents to the upcoming film. This particular actor has a huge list of voice acting credits attached to his name. And if you know the Spider-Geddon comic book event and how it ties into the multiverse, you know that particular version of the character can play a much bigger role than other versions. I think this is also a great addition, and the gaming world once again sliding onto the big screen, which I do believe is the future for many of these characters. Now, there are also some reports there could be more actors returning, including Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. But this apparently would just be a cameo, and right now this is not being fully reported on, so I don't know if that's been confirmed or not. There's also been several teases of some of the animated versions, including Spectacular Spider-Man's Josh Keaton and the 90s version Christopher Daniel Barnes, who has expressed a ton of interest in returning to the franchise. All of these castings once again reinforce the multiverse nature of this particular movie, but I also think it really will highlight what Sony is intending to do with their Spider-Man universe. Given some of the details we've heard about Madam Web and the multiverse aspects of that movie and her powers, it's clear Sony is going to lean on that very heavily to develop their universe of Spider-Man characters. How this intersects with Marvel's upcoming Multiverse War and Secret Wars, we're going to have to wait and see. But I think it's pretty interesting that Sony is aligning their story much closer to Marvel, and I suspect behind the scenes there might be much more coordination than anybody knows about. Now, obviously, we're following Across the Spider-Verse really closely, and I think we're going to get a lot more news for this project moving forward. We actually found out earlier today that Daniel Kaluuya will be joining the project as Spider-Punk, and we're going to break that down in another video really soon. Now, if you're a Spider-Man fan and want to get all the news and updates, make sure you click that like and subscribe button, and we'll make sure we bring you the news as soon as it drops. But until we know more, what do you guys think? How do you feel about Tom Holland potentially returning as Spider-Man in Across the Spider-Verse Part 1? And do you think this is once again an even bigger sign that Sony and Marvel's coordination for the multiverse is in full effect? Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you hit like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Peace.